So we're talking about the power of water, right? I mean, water carved this cathedral out of nothing.
Yep.
And how long has this erosion been taking place?
Well, at least 5.5 million years is what they say.
Following similar clues, Hutton realized that Usher's 6,000-year age for Earth had to be wrong. Unimaginable eons of time were needed for water to carve out valleys. And Hutton noticed something else. The layers of rock, revealed by erosion, showed a still greater scale of time.
Oh, here's a nice place to see the strata.
I see, yeah, right here.
Yeah. This red layer right here would be a siltstone that formed at the edge of an ocean. And you know, it took probably 1,000 years to form 1 inch of it.
1,000 years? Oh my God. So you're telling me that...
And so, in a radio host format, I'm supposed to interrupt Michio Kaku on life after death, creationism, and scientific evidence of geological time passing to welcome Rick, not baby Jesus, just regular Jesus, who can heal microbial life. Kill it, zap it where it stands. And Z, Andrew, the Zodiac, he's from down under. He's already torn his... If your seismograph registered about a 7.8 anywhere in the United States, that was Andrew. He fucked his shoulder up tonight. Myself, if you hear the seismograph continue to rumble like an aftershock, that's probably my heart, because it's been jumping out of my chest today. And a couple other things going with it, jaw pain, head pain, and then like swollen ankles, which is really a bad sign. It's like angina, which I thought said vagina when I first saw it, but I mean, I wouldn't mind having a condition called vagina. I think it would be, because it would remind me about the beauty of the female anatomy. But supposedly this is where the pump is fucked up. Your heart's not pushing fucking blood around right and shit, and then you get shit building up, and then it quits. And I don't know if that's what's going on. It's happened twice. I went to the ER about a month ago for it. They said it wasn't a heart attack. I was like, cool. They said, we need to admit you, though, to do stress tests. I said, no, I'm out. You said it wasn't a heart attack, right? Yes, we said that. Okay, I'm out. And now tonight the same thing's happened, worse. So who knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe it's nothing. I'm not a hypochondriac. I don't even go to the fucking doctor, so I don't know. Let's finish this up, and just wanted to welcome Rick and Andrew to the chat room.
Going back to the Babylonians and the Egyptians
would be just that much.
Just a few inches.
Isn't that staggering? Yeah.
So this is like a time machine, basically, right? 1,000 years per inch on average.
On average, yeah. If you just took the whole length of just the sedimentary rocks in the canyon that have been deposited here, floods and rivers and streams and the ocean coming in.
Staggers the imagination.
It does, indeed. As you walk down this trail, by the way, I wanted to tell you that that every step you take, you go about 20,000 years into the past.
Is that right?
Yeah. And we've taken quite a few steps already, and there are a lot more steps taken all the way down to the river.
I see.
Yeah.
In fact, just 6 inches of the Grand Canyon's rock face is equivalent to Usher's time scale for the whole of Earth's existence. The Earth had begun to reveal the true immensity of time. A scale of time that was inconceivable. An unending abyss.
For me, Hutton wrote a great passage which summarizes the experience of the Grand Canyon. And that is, the result, therefore, of our present inquiry is that we find no vestige of a beginning, no prospect for an end.
The great vastness of Earth-time had been revealed, and a scientific quest had begun. If the Earth wasn't 6,000 years old, then just how old was it? It's a question that has only finally been answered in the last few decades.
Yeah, and then it oddly ends, but, you know, that's how YouTube videos work, but it's 4.5 billion years, something like that, 4.7, 4.3, I can't remember. So yeah, the Earth's been around a while. We were a rock. We've had the shit beaten out of us by meteorites and asteroids and various tectonic shift, plate shift of volcanic activity. We've been dick fucked by giant comets and terrible solar flares and shit. And that's just basic training. I mean, when we leave basic, we're in the calm stage right now on the flight to our job, which is the front line of battle, which will be, you name it. We're not going to be able to keep up with it. But this is, the time scale I'm talking about right now is almost unimaginable. It's very difficult to imagine 100,000 years and then 1,000,000 years and then 1,000,000,000 years. But as it goes by, to think that we'll have the technology to stop rogue comets or solar flares or, God forbid, some kind of quasar or black hole energy offshoot where it ejects energy, a mass coronal ejection, big ass fucking ejaculations of death all over the universe. I can't imagine a God out there going, I think I'm gonna fuck with this like this here. I'm gonna fuck with that just like that over. Look at that over there. Give me a beer. Hey, Lucifer, bring him back up here just a minute. Bring him up here. Tell him to go get me a beer. Go get me a beer, Lucifer. What you mean you ain't gonna do it? Send his ass back down. I gave you a chance, motherfucker. Get back down in the fucking basement. Bring Billy Bob in here. What's he doing out there? Is he fucking with the angels again? He's hitting on that choir girl, isn't he? That son's a bitch. Bitch smack him with a fucking tube sock. Yeah. No, I don't know if Jesus talks like that. He may have more of a Middle Eastern dialect kind of accent there, but I can just about assure you that he does not sound like anyone from Canada, eh? I don't know why. It just seems like a very ungodly tone to take. They're very polite in Canada, but they're very quiet. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know. You got to listen for this sound. Because that's them sharpening skates. And if they're sharpening their skates, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. And, watch your maple syrup bottles, because who's to say? There couldn't be a little bit of arsenic in there, just trace amounts, enough to build up and accumulate in your body over time. Next thing you know, half of America's dying. What's going on? Canada, begin the invasion. Yeah. I mean, Mexico's already invading. We might as well have Canada, too. They're being nice and proper up there. I guess in the end, we'll be dead, and the Canadians will be fighting the Mexicans for America. I mean, that makes sense. If you could look at Earth on a fast-forward scale, look at it. Ball of rocks, explosion, ball of rock, volcano, meteorite. People, oh, look, they're all taking territory from each other. Oh, there go the people, they're gone. That's what it would look like fast-forwarded. So we got to get some fucking people off this planet if we want to make it, or at least find a way to get our consciousness for certain into some unassailable afterlife. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but you know who has a good view on things like this? I'll give you a clue. His name in Spanish would be Jorge Harlan. Are you getting it yet?
What I've been doing? Going through my address book and crossing out the dead people. You do that? That's a lot of fun, isn't it? Gives you a good feeling. Kind of gives you a feeling of power. A superiority to have outlasted another old friend. But you can't do it too soon, you know? You can't do it too soon. You can't come running home from the funeral and get the book out, and be looking through the book. You can't do that. A little time has to pass. You have to let a little time go by. I have a rule of thumb, 6 weeks. If you're a friend of mine and you're in my book and you die, I leave you alone for an extra 6 weeks. 6 extra weeks in the book on the house, it's on me. Now, speaking of dead people, there are things we say when someone dies. Most of us say, a lot of us do, things we say that no one ever questions. They just kind of go unexamined. Give you a couple examples. After someone dies, the following conversation is bound to take place, probably more.
Yeah, I interrupted it because I will interrupt George Carlin to welcome Stabby McHugs, who is known as our editor-in-chief for all things logical and reasonable. And then we get back to George. That's how that goes.
Two guys meet on the street. Hey, did you hear? Phil Davis died. Phil Davis? I just saw him yesterday. Yeah. Didn't help. He died anyway. Apparently, the simple act of your seeing him did not slow his cancer down. In fact, it may have made it more aggressive. You know, you could be responsible for Phil's death. How do you live with yourself? Here's another thing they say after a death. This is usually said to the surviving spouse. Listen, if there's anything I can do, anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask. What are you going to do, a resurrection? This ain't the fucking New Testament, you know. You know what you tell a guy like that who wants to help? Oh, fine, why don't you come over this weekend? You can paint the garage. Bring your plunger. The upstairs toilet overflowed and there's shit all over the floor up there. Do you drive a tractor? Good, that'll come in handy. The North 40 needs a lot of attention. Bring your chainsaw and your pickaxe. We're going to put your ass to work. He wants to help? Fuck him. Call his bluff. Call his bluff. Don't hesitate to ask. The nerve of these pricks. Here's another thing we say to the surviving spouse. I'm keeping him in my thoughts. Where? Where exactly in your thoughts does he fit? In between my ass hurts in this chair and let's fuck the waitress? What are your priorities? We use a lot of euphemisms when we talk about death, you know? People say things like, you know, I lost my father. Ah, he'll turn up. You gotta stay optimistic with people like that. Give them reason to hope. Have you checked the dumpster out back? He used to like to take a nap in there. Keep it upbeat. Now, there's something else that is said after a death, but this one involves belief, which is where I begin to have big problems. This one happens after the funeral, after the burial, back at the house. Back at the house where the family and friends and the loved ones of the deceased are having some food and drink and they're enjoying some warm reminiscences of the person who passed away. Sooner or later, someone is bound to say the following, especially after a few drinks. You know, I think he's up there now, smiling down at us. And I think he's pleased. Now, first of all, there is no up there. No. For people to be smiling down from. It's poetic, it's quaint, and I guess for superstitious people it provides a little comfort, but it doesn't exist. But if it did, and if someone did somehow survive death in a non-physical form, I personally think he'd be far too busy with other celestial activities than to be standing around paradise, smiling down. On live people. What kind of a fucking eternity?
I gotta pause that because fuck that. If I do tonight, and there is a God, if you're listening, my fucking eternity has anything to do with faggoty white angel wings, and I don't mean that in a gay way, I mean in a feminine way, and harps, and stupid-ass halos, and little fat little cherub bitches flying around shooting people with arrows, and the little guilty look on their face like they stole somebody's candy. If it has anything to do with smiling down on people, you know, that might be fine for 10 years until you get over the fact that you've separated from them in a very physical sense. Then I don't want to do that. I want to be put to death for real, where I can't think or feel anymore. Is that possible? Where do I sign up for that at? Where's the church of let me fucking rest already? Why does everybody say rest in peace if you're going to be looking down on somebody like some kind of goddamn NSA drone the whole time? Yeah, I'll be fine. That's fucking creepy, Christianity. That's creepy. And no, I don't want anybody looking down on me. I might be wiping my ass. I might be slinging my balls around like a bolo